Okay. Okay, I guess it's already 5 p.m. So warm greetings from Adyar to all sisters and brothers. We are going live on YouTube now, and before handing to Dr. Ramanujashari, we welcome you all to this joint meeting of the Madras Theosophical Federation and Pragya CS Studio. And a few requests is to keep your microphones muted during the meeting. Then at the end of the meeting, we will open them for the session of questions and answers. We also want to welcome the
Dear friends and companions, I welcome you all for this afternoon meeting on a very interesting subject like efficacy of meditation. Before commencing the meeting, I would like to do the invocation in the usual way. O hidden life vibrant in every atom, O hidden light shining in every creature, O hidden love embracing all in oneness, may each who feels himself as one with thee know he is therefore one with every other. Dear friends, I am happy we have Dr. R.J.Kalpana to talk to us this afternoon. I would request Mr. Shikhar to introduce the speaker.
Katrina, you are muted, I think. Your voice is not coming. Excuse me, can't hear you. Can't hear you. Oh, you are not audible. The microphone. I think the audio link is gone.
Is it audible now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're audible with the echo.
Okay. Now it's okay. Now the echo has disappeared. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, it's a pleasure for us to welcome Dr. Kalpana. She is an author, entrepreneur, consultant, director of Athena Consultancy, founder of Pen and Ink Solutions, and a heartfulness meditation trainer. As a speaker, she has delivered various talks. Also in 2012, Dr. Kalpana's biography, The Atheist Disciple, on her great-great-grandfather, R.J.Kalpana, was released by Mrs. Radha Burnier during the centenary celebrations of the Hyderabad Theosophical Society. Her great-great-father, Sri R. Jagannathan, was one of the earliest members of the Theosophical Society. He was the founder of the Bellary Theosophical Lodge as was his son, Sri R. Srinivas Rao, the founder of the Hyderabad Theosophical Trust. Sri R. Jagannatha and his son, Sri R. Srinivas Rao, closely worked with Madame Blavatsky and Colonel Olcott, as well as W. Kwan Judge, Annie Besant, and C.W. Levitt. Dr. Kalpana also designed and developed the Indian section of the Theosophical Society website that many of us have visited many times and we know. So Dr. Kalpana, it's really our great pleasure to have you today with us on this lecture on the effectiveness of meditation. So please, we welcome, the time is all yours.
Good evening. Thank you all. It's a pleasure to see Dr. N.C. Ramanujachari. I don't know if many of you are familiar, but and if I might take the liberty, but Sir Dr. Ramanujachari was not well in the month of February. And of course, as he's amidst us, he has since recovered. And for most of us, the body dictates our life.
Idea, because while I welcome Dr. Ramanujachari, it was
we
working.
are
Then it stopped working.
on the aches and the pains of our body determines the course of our life. But Dr. N.C. Ramanujachari is one of the rare individuals who tells his body how to be healthy. It's a great spiritual secret that we all should learn from him. So respectful and heartful pranams to the spiritual hierarchy of masters, respected elders, and fraternal greetings to the participants of this program. I thank the organizers, the President, Dr. N.C. Ramanujachari of Madras Theosophical Federation, and his team, Mr. Shikhar Agnihotri, for inviting me to address you all. And I thank all of you for taking the time to attend this program. Now, I have been invited to address all of you on the subject of the efficacy of meditation. I have been fortunate enough to be an ardent practitioner of meditation for more than a decade now. And if I go back in time, perhaps all my life I have been meditating in one form or another. And if I might take the liberty to go back even further into the mists of time, perhaps for many lifetimes I must have been meditating. For how else would one explain the joy derived from such a simple act of sitting in silence with eyes closed? Now, in order to explain the efficacy of meditation, one must first understand what is meditation. Let us consider the spiritual hierarchy of the ascended masters who have poured their wisdom and insight into this activity. Let us consider the personal experiences that they have shared with the practitioners, inviting them to join in this activity vicariously, so they too can grow in wisdom, and the permission that they have granted to share the techniques of meditation with the world at large, so humanity as a whole shall vibrate at a higher frequency of the divine. At the outset, let me assure you that I am by no means an expert on meditation, for as days goes by, I realize more and more that this is an infinite path, and every step seems like the first step. I would like to think that the audience have at least a rudimentary understanding of what meditation is all about, although, of course, this is not a prerequisite for attendance. So the topic I'm addressing you today is the efficacy of meditation. Now, in order to understand the efficacy of meditation, we would first need to understand what is meditation. Meditation is at once an art and a science, where at its pristine state is the union between the individual soul and the infinite source. And meditation is the process where we achieve this union by settling the mind and cleansing our heart, which in turn provides access to the infinite source. The brilliant ancient sage Patanjali compiled a set of practices that covers the body, the mind, and the soul to effect the purifying of the mind and the settling of it. And meditation is the seventh limb in the Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, or the Eightfold Path. So today's session will be in three parts. 1, why meditation? 2, how to meditate? And 3, what comes after meditation? These questions are deeply introspective and are best answered by the individuals themselves. Now, before we begin the session, I would like to invite you all for a minute's silence to center ourselves and open our hearts and minds to the session. So please sit comfortably and gently close your eyes. Bring your attention to your nose and observe the flow of breath as you gently inhale and exhale. Thank you. So let us address what is meditation. Meditation is the art of silencing the mind and connecting with our soul. It is an effortless focus on one thing for a certain period of time. Now, this definition totally demystifies meditation because it moves it from the realm of the occult to the realm of an activity that can be easily adopted because it is sitting in silence and gently focusing on something for a specified period of time. Now let's ask ourselves the question, why are we gathered here to discuss the subject of meditation? 1, the average mind is chaotic. It's a mental mess, let's admit it. And meditation is that practice that ensures restoring of some basic sanity and peace within ourselves. Meditation is not about controlling our thoughts. Meditation is about not letting our thoughts control us. Think about it. Now, here are 5 interesting insights that I learned from around what neuroscientific research is saying about the effects of meditation on the brain. Firstly, the average human brain is inundated with thoughts.
Dr. Kalpana, sorry, can you unmute yourself, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Now it's okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. So as I was saying, the average human mind is inundated with thoughts every second. Do you want to guess as to the number of thoughts per day we have? It is around 70,000 thoughts a day, which means a thought every 1.2 seconds. That's a lot of thoughts to have. Secondly, a good proportion of these thoughts are not related in the activity that we are engaged upon. Again, guess what proportion of thoughts to the activity that we are engaged in? It's close to about 50%, meaning half the time the mind is wandering away from the activity that we are engaged in, which means it is an absolute certainty that every one of you will at some point during my talk allow your mind to wander away into the bylanes of other thoughts. A general consensus is that these thoughts are more prone to be negative. They're more prone to be emotionally moody and morose rather than happy thoughts. Now, the third finding of neuroscience becomes even more interesting. A reasonable proportion of random thoughts are indeed negative, 2/3 to be precise. That is more than the majority of our thoughts are focused on the negative emotion. And if we run through the math, it is a thought every 2 seconds, which is a negative thought. Now take a moment and absorb this information and think what assaults us. We are constantly under attack with one negative thought every 2 seconds. Never mind the fact that it's our own mind that is attacking us with these negative thoughts. The fourth finding is very challenging. What proportion of thought is truly under our control? And the neuroscientist research tells us that the answer is 5%, because 95% of our thoughts stem from our subconscious mind, which is not in our direct control. So all this encouraging, inspiring advice we get from people, think positive, stay positive, be positive, is all very well-meaning but not practicable, because the majority of our thoughts, the overwhelming majority of our thoughts, 95%, is ruled by the subconscious mind. So if we put all this data together, what does this picture look like? Doesn't it look like we just might be quite a mental mess? The average human being has many thoughts, a thought every 1.2 seconds. The majority of them are negative thoughts, and these thoughts are not in our control. So the question is, are we doomed to a life of negative unhappiness? Well, the good news is that neuroscience research has also proved the positive effects of meditation on the mind. It has shown that meditation improves focus. The wandering nature of the mind actually decreases with meditation. It has shown that meditation improves emotional regulation, which means that we are less prone to be negative, less prone to stress with regular meditative practice. And finally, it improves self-awareness. So there is a redemptive power to meditation as one of the natural practices to help us combat the current natural tendency of our mind to wander and focus on negativity. In other words, we can achieve basic happiness through meditation is the message that the neuroscientific research community is suggesting. So this is one of the motivations on the efficacy of meditation. The second, slightly more positive effect is what we corporates term as peak performance. Now, you all might have heard of the state of flow, that is basically a state in which one is completely engaged in the activity that one is involved in, totally focused, balanced, and relaxed, in the zone, so to speak. It is also a state that is associated with extraordinary accomplishments by people in the realm of sports, science, creative arts, etc. When people state that they are in the zone when they accomplish awe-inspiring feats of breaking world records or scientific discoveries or creating a beautiful work of art, they are functioning at an optimal peak performance level. This state of flow or relaxed concentration that neuroscientifically is very similar to the state of meditation. Now, the interesting point is that for the people of extraordinary accomplishment, the state of flow just seems to happen effortlessly, right? Now, the question is, can we retain that condition for a longer duration of time? Can we make that state of flow happen much more deliberately? And that is where meditation steps in. For meditation is nothing but an effortless focus on one thing for a period of time. So with regular practice of effective meditation, we can actually get into a state of flow at the likelihood of getting into the state of flow that gets greatly enhanced, and thereby it's more likely that we perform at our best optimal potential at any given moment in time. So that's the second rationale to the efficacy of meditation, peak performance. Now, as human beings, we are social creatures as we interact with each other in a socio-cultural context. So how do we integrate meditation with this? A good meditative practice helps us move from thinking to feeling. And with this capacity, our ability to connect with ourselves takes place. In other words, we become more self-aware. As our capacity for self-awareness goes up, our own empathy goes up. Research also suggests that one is more self-aware, one has more empathy for others. A greater empathy obviously results in a greater connection with others. Our relationships truly become more enriching and more fulfilling. In fact, a good meditative practice shifts us from empathy to compassion, where we earn an attempt to relieve another of their pain and suffering. Research suggests that reward centers in our brain gets more active when we support others than when we indulge in our own satisfaction and self-fulfillment. So one can say that through meditation, better relationships, improved compassion, greater connection. So that's the third rationale on the efficacy of meditation. Now, the fourth rationale, I'm sure there are many in this group who are passionate about social reform, about social service, and may be well inclined to ask the question, can meditation change the world? Or is it just for my personal benefit? And the resounding answer to that is yes. Our inner condition changes the atmosphere and the world around us. On a lighter side, when someone asked my meditation guru, how does the world benefit when I meditate? The guru responded interestingly and amusingly that at least during that time, that window of time while you're meditating, the world is saved from having to deal with your problems. Yogic science actually confirms this, as Patanjali says in the Yoga Sutras, that the benefit of non-violence is that for one who practices non-violence, harmony prevails in the environment around them automatically. And that is why the ashrams of the great sages in the past, we have heard of wild animals coexisting harmoniously with humans. And this is beautifully illustrated in the story of Lord Buddha, when there is a thief called Angunimala. Now, Anguni means a finger, and Mala means a garland. So the thief is supposed to have made a garland of fingers from the people whom he robbed. So one day he heard of Lord Buddha and went to confront him. On beholding Lord Buddha, he was so astounded by the composure, the tranquility, and the peace that was emanating from Lord Buddha, that all his violence vanished in that instance, and he became a devoted disciple. In the presence of a master of caliber, all it takes is one moment in time to effect a transformation. In other words, the story suggests to us that in the presence of one who is peaceful, the atmosphere becomes peaceful. We have all experienced it, I'm sure, in our own personal lives, like when we go to someone who's very composed and balanced in temperament, our own inner agitation gets settled in their presence. So that's the great wisdom of yoga, that if we want world peace, it means to start with individual peace. And therefore, our inner condition creates an echo in the universe. Research confirms more and more that there is a field around us that reflects our inner environment, our attitudes, our behaviors. So that's the fourth impetus for meditation. Through meditation, become a better person, create a better world. Finally, let's look at it from the yogic science standpoint. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras suggest that a settled mind reveals the object and the nature of the object that it focuses on. Now, taking this point one step further, If we allow this mind to settle on our inner self, our true nature would be revealed to us, which is supposed to be one of infinite bliss, way beyond the highest joys of pleasure that we can accomplish through worldly activities. Well, this is what the yogic science suggests. We all earn to achieve this condition of infinite bliss. It's part of our human nature. The call of the infinite can never be dulled with time, as yogic science tells us, and all our pursuits, we look for this infinite, unfortunately, in worldly activities. The deepest call is when the individual soul reunites with the infinite source. And that happens only when we settle the mind on meditation. It is through the simple act of meditation that we achieve the infinite and self-realization. So irrespective of the angle that we are looking from, be it basic happiness, peak performance, improving relationships, or creating a better world around us, or whether it be the ultimate quest of purpose of human life, which is to reunite with infinite source. Meditation is that simple practice that can unite our varied goals in life. As a meditation trainer, I have welcomed people from varied backgrounds, varied experiences, varied goals. Some come for peace of mind, some come for stress relief, some come to understand the true nature of the self. Now, all these reasons are valid, and hopefully, through this simple act of meditation, we get awakened to the highest goal that is possible for human beings, which is reuniting with the infinite, which is self-realization or God realization, as you might call it. Now, finally, select a practice of meditation that can help you achieve your goal. A scientific approach is encouraged as opposed to accepting on blind faith. After more than a decade of meditation, I can say with absolute certainty that I'm generally a much more balanced person now compared to who I was when I initially started meditation. Meditation has given me greater focus. I spend my time in management consulting, which is a very demanding profession with a lot of travel and intense work. I also spend my time in creative writing and research. My meditation has helped me balance my varied interests with equal aplomb because it has sharpened my focus considerably. In fact, the busier life became, the more demanding life became, the more meditation was helpful. 30 minutes of meditation a day helps release a lot of negative emotions that I might have otherwise spent on either worrying about investor funding or taking a wrong business decision, etc. In fact, meditation does not take time, it returns time. Think about it. At another level, relationships with people around me are more fulfilling and engaging. because by and large, meditation generally helps me accept people as they are without prejudging them, to celebrate their strengths and to accept their differences, and to live a life of joy and togetherness. On a deeply spiritual level, it has been my observation that the universe sends forth those people towards me who have similar characteristics of simplicity and compassion and similar goals of spiritual endeavors. Also, it puts into context the trials that we inevitably go through in life, as in the context of our journey towards the infinite. So this brings us to the conclusion of the first part of the session on why should we meditate. Now we will go to the second part of this session on meditative practices. How do we meditate? There are many schools of meditation, as there are many methods of meditation. I would only like to add a cautionary note here that we must meditate with proper guidance and on a tried and tested method. Meditation done randomly without proper guidance is counterproductive. So let us explore some of the points you might have to consider while you decide on the path of meditation. The object of meditation comes to mind instantly. At the beginning, I defined meditation as an effortless focus on one thing for a period of time. So meditation is actually quite natural to us. We are all meditating on something or the other, perhaps on our ambitions of our future, our worries of the past, on the things that we like, on the things that we dislike, the people we love, the people we hate, etc. I always found our first cup of coffee in the morning is a deeply meditative experience at a very basic level. However, what we meditate on is usually not useful to us. It doesn't help us to transform. So the object of meditation is very critical as we acquire the qualities of what we meditate upon. If we watch a horror film and we spend the rest of the day contemplating the horrorness of that film, we are going to be deeply disturbed. Whereas, if we are sitting at the Himalayas and contemplating the serene Mansarovar lake, we are likely to be more composed, more at peace. So if you are considering meditation, find a worthy goal to meditate upon that would transform you and transform the world around you. Now, one complaint I often receive from the practitioners of meditation is the ongoing feud that they have with their thoughts. Meditation is to be taken up without forcing the mind in a very relaxed way, with no attempt to concentrate. Concentration is a natural outcome of meditation. It is not a precondition of meditation, because meditation is a process. The important point to note is how we feel after meditation. Over a period of time, you will find meditation happens automatically at the subconscious level, and that you will not be a slave to your thoughts anymore. So meditation is the prescribed way, since time immemorial because it is special and transformative. Meditation becomes then dynamic, for it affects the transformation of a human being. We are not talking about minor changes. We are talking about a transformation, a fundamental reformation of a human being, the refinement of a human being into a divine being. It is the process where we move from animal man to human man to divine man, from instinct to intellect to intuition. So choose wisely and carefully the school of meditation you want to associate with, because it has to fundamentally affect your transformation into divinity, which is at the end a very worthy goal to have. So at one level, the surest test of whether the meditation practice you have selected is working or not is a progressive feeling of lightness of being, with inner peace, of composure, of joy and compassion. And if you get these results, then you have selected the right practice of meditation. So this brings us to the conclusion of the second part of the session on meditative practices and how to meditate. And we shall now move to the third part, beyond meditation. It is worth noting here that meditation in and by itself is not the end, but is only the means to an end. So the question is, what next? I shall call out three things here. Retaining the condition acquired during meditation, the shift of actively meditating, and being meditatively active. This allows us to perform our worldly duties and also helps us to avoid accumulating further impressions as we remain emotionally balanced. In yogic science, this is a rather advanced state of being. It's called Sahaj Samadhi, where there is total awareness and there is total absorption. So after a session of meditation, spend a few minutes observing your inner condition and try retaining it for a period of time. This will help you recall the condition any time during the day, like how we often recall a favorite joke that we heard. So now we come to the end of this session, and I close the session with a shloka. Dhyana Moolam Gurur Murtihi, Puja Moolam Gurur Padam, Mantra Moolam Gurur Vakyam, Moksha Moolam Gurur Kripa. The root of meditation is the form of the Guru. The root of worship is the feet of the Guru. The root of mantra is the word of the Guru. The root of liberation is the grace of the Guru. I thank you one and all for this opportunity. I invite you to meditate and join millions of us. Best wishes for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kalpana ji, for such a wonderful exposition on meditation and taking all of us on this journey of meditation, we'll have our delegates and brothers and sisters, because this is a very practical subject and also metaphysical subject. They may be having few questions, but before that, I would like to request Dr. N.C. Ramanujachari ji if he has some concluding remarks to make. Dr. Ramanujachari ji, unmute yourself, please. Dr. Ramanujachari, unmute yourself, please. Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Yes. Am I now? I'm very thankful to Dr. Kalpana for the beautiful talk and dividing the subject into 3 items and very carefully nurturing each of it. I would only like to say that as people generally think, my meditation is not body based, it is neither mind based. It is something like going beyond the mind and becoming one with the whole of existence. See, the human being, fortunately or unfortunately, has come down from a unity, ekatva, to put it in Sanskrit. And with so many modifications and differentiations, he has come into the world and then living the life. Now he has to do the return journey, which is very obligated. It's not optional. And in that return journey, the culmination is becoming again one with that unity. That is the whole thing we have to remember. And meditation is not a time-bound thing. As the speaker has already mentioned, it's not limited to a particular time. Once you meditate for 30 minutes, that effect of meditation should carry you the whole day. In other words, meditation is an all-time activity. It's not a transitory matter. Now, meditation is culminating into the point of samadhi, which means becoming one with the existence. Sama plus adhi. It is becoming one with the total existence. As we said earlier, unity and going back to that unity. That's the whole thing. And I would also like to remind our friends and listeners that Madam Blavatsky has given out a diagram of meditation where she says there are certain qualities and attitudes that a person or aspirant, as we may call him or her, has to acquire certain qualities and deprive of certain things. Certain wrong notions about life, he has to get rid of, and he has to gather around the noble thoughts of manifestation and existence. So, by following the acquisitions and deprivations mentioned therein, one will be very easily getting into the whole exercise of meditation. I'm again thankful to Dr. Kalpana for the very good presentation of the thing. And then after the questions and answers, Mr. Raman will give the vote of thanks in a formal way. Thank you all again.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Ramanujachari ji, for your comments. We have Dr. Rajam from Mumbai. She wants to ask a question or share. Dr. Rajam, go ahead, please.
First of all, let me say about Kalpana. What she feels. So the total impact is soothing. Another word, soothing, calm. A doctor should also look at a doctor. Shanti, Samadhi, should look himself a bit. The blue color is beautiful. They are all actually giving a total impact. I am happy that you gave the example of Angulimal.
Yeah.
One who said, I need one finger to complete my garland. And he said, let me cut Buddha ka finger. Buddha just said, okay.
Dr. Rajamji, your voice is not coming clearly at all. Can you check the microphone, please?
I,
I
Yes,
was also not
better,
able
better.
to hear what
okay.
she said.
Yes, much better.
So Kalpana, I'm happy you gave the example of Angulimal,
Yes,
the garland of fingers, Anguli. He just needed one finger. Buddha ka finger and the mala will be complete.
complete.
This transformation happened to Narendranath also. Vivekananda. This electric transformation can happen to a saint, an ordinary man. I'm happy. Kalpana has said one sentence which I like. Meditation doesn't take away your time. Because we said, कहाँ time है यार? Time लेता नहीं है, time देता है. Time को व्यवस्थित बनाता है, बचता है. तो
Okay.
give us a lot. यथा रूपम तथा ध्वनि.
आवाज ही नहीं आ रहा आपका.
Okay, yeah, Dr. Rajam, thank you. We lost you in the end, but we got your point that you shared, that the very important aspect that Dr. Kalpana ji said, that meditation does not take time, but actually it gives time. So we have received one more question, and before that, anyone else wants to ask any question? Please, you can write it in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and we can
Hello.
invite you. Hello,
Hello.
Mr. Bhatnagar ji.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Please ask the question.
In the right mean, meditation it gives you real life and feeling the other world. In Hinduism, it's called spirituality. It gives you real life and it's relate the earth to universe. Now my comment is end. Hello.
Yes, Dr. Bhatnagar, Mr. Bhatnagar ji, please.
My comment is end, my dear.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Dr. Kalpana ji, we have received one request from the WhatsApp. If maybe we can get a short guided practical meditation by Dr. Kalpana from Sister Kavita Iyer. It's up to you completely. How do you want to take this?
No, I would be happy to guide you through meditation. Would you like to do it now?
I think
it's
okay.
Up to you, the organizers. You have to let me know. I'll be quite happy to take you through.
Okay, I think we have not other question. So we can continue with the meditation, and after that, we can have the vote of thanks, and with that, we can finish the meeting.
Okay, so how much time do you have for the meditation session?
Yeah, we have about 5 to 7 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. So can we have at least a 10 to 15-minute session? Will that be okay?
Okay.
A
Yeah, I think
10-minute session.
10-minute session would be okay.
Okay. So yeah, everybody, if all the participants are okay with it, please sit comfortably and gently close your eyes. Bring your attention to your nose and observe the flow of breath as you gently inhale and exhale. Feel the energy from Mother Earth entering the soles of your feet and gently relaxing your heels, your ankles, your toes. Feel your entire feet relaxed. Feel the energy travel up your legs, relaxing the muscles of your calves, relaxing your knees, your thighs, your hips, your waist. Feel your entire lower body relaxed as you gently settle into a comfortable position. Feel the energy relaxing the muscles of your abdomen, relaxing your stomach. Feel the energy travel up your spine, relaxing your entire back. Allow the weight upon your shoulders to evaporate and gently relax your shoulders. Feel the energy travel down your arms, relaxing your elbows, your palms, your fingers. Feel your entire arms relaxed. Feel the energy relaxing the muscles of your chest as you gently inhale and exhale. Feel the energy relaxing the muscles of your heart, relaxing your lungs, and gently relaxing the muscles of your neck as it travels up your head, relaxing your forehead, your eyes, your nose, your cheeks, your ears, your jaw, your mouth. Feel your entire body relax. From the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Allow the healing energy of Mother Earth heal your body, mind, and soul, releasing all aches and pains, all stress and strain. And gently bring your attention to your heart and think there is a divine light in your heart that's guiding you within. Remain absorbed in this divine light for the next few minutes. That's all. Take a moment and observe your inner condition. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes.
Thank you, Dr. Kalpana ji, for taking this wonderful session.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
I request now Brother Sundaram Ramanji, Secretary of.
I would, I just would like to ask if anybody has any comments and anything that they would like to share with regard to this very brief meditation session that we had. Generally, it's ideally a meditation session should last from anywhere between 30 minutes to 60 minutes duration. So we just went through a very, just a brief glimpse of it. My suggestion would be to observe yourself 1 hour afterwards. Sometimes, generally, it takes about an hour or so for the effect of the meditation, for us to perceive the effect of meditation. Okay, thank you.
It's very good experience.
Yeah, thank you. And we have a few comments in the chat section. Thank you, Dr. Kalpana ji, for this wonderful session. Thank you from Philippines, Brother Charlie Romero ji saying, President of Philippines Theosophical Society. Very nice meditation session, Brother Harshad Udani ji is sharing with everyone. Now I would like to request Brother Sundaram Ramanji to say the vote of thanks, and after that we will announce our program for the next Sundays. Brother Sundaramji.
Good evening. Meditation and yoga happen to belong to such class of words that have assumed greater, wider, and deeper significance in human life. They have even acquired a modern, fanciful form and look. What benefits flow out of that? Why do I want to meditate? Have I ever asked this question? The question does not occur at all to you if you are already taken over by an impulsive enthusiasm. Dr. Kalpana talked today on the efficacy of meditation. Why meditation? How do we meditate? And what comes after meditation and beyond? It was very simple, complete, interesting, and informative. I thank Dr. Kalpana for her talk. And in meditation, as it is said, is the complete emptying of the mind. And in theosophical speaking also mentions mind as the fifth principle available to the human being. So I once again thank Dr. Kalpana for her talk. I also thank her for conducting us through a meditation session, though it was very brief. I thank all the participants also. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Brother Sundaram Ramanji, for your vote of thanks. And yeah, we cannot thank more Dr. Kalpana ji, who shared with us such a enlightening journey. But every journey must come to an end for practical reasons. So I would like to thank also on behalf of MTF and Efficacy Studio, Dr. Kalpana and all the other participants. And our next program coming up is the joint program of Madras Theosophical Federation and Pragya CS Studio will be on 1st of August by Sister Erica Georgiades, who is from a member of Theosophical Society Greece and also the secretary of the European School of Theosophy. And the title of her talk is going to be what is in Lucifer magazine. And we all know that Lucifer magazine was the one which was edited by H.P. Blavatsky and Sister Mabel Collins in the earlier times. But this will be the joint event of MT Madras Theosophical Federation and Pragya CS Studio. But the next Sunday, the coming Sunday, is also just like today's session was very interesting and inspiring. The next Sunday's talk is also going to be very, I think, enlightening and insightful. The subject of which is the cosmic dance. And we all know Nataraja. What is the symbolism of Nataraja and particle physics? The cosmic dance, Nataraja and particle physics, and it will be presented by Sister Vibha Saxena, whom many of us must have heard in the past. She is a member of Theosophical Society Noida. That will be on 25th July, coming Sunday at 5 p.m. Same time. So thank you once again for joining us, and thank you to Dr. Kalpana. And now if anybody has wants to convey direct wishes or greetings to Dr. Kalpana, you can unmute yourself and kindly do that, and then we will end the meeting in a couple of minutes.
I would just like to address one point that was raised during the in the chat session, that meditation could be of any duration and for any time. Of course, meditation can be of any duration and for any time. But the reason why we generally stick to an hour of meditation is that we still have to function in this world. We still have worldly responsibilities and duties. So unless we take the path of, like the others have taken, like Vivekananda and all of them, we still are very much connected with this world, with our responsibilities. So that is why I very specifically mentioned restricted time of meditation.
Yeah, that's very important and advice, Dr. Kalpana ji. And we have one more. Okay, that query is related to from TSR and Co. Can it be put on YouTube, please? Yes, sir. This is actually right now live on YouTube. So if you want to view this video, you can visit the Pragya CS Studio channel on YouTube, or the link is also in the link is shared in the chat box. You can copy that link for viewing this very important and inspiring talk by Dr. Kalpana ji, not just the theoretical aspect, but also the practical aspect that in a brief time she did with us. Thank you. And so, okay, if anybody else wants to say something, otherwise then we are going to close the meeting.
I would like to just focus attention. Kalpana ji can give good answer for this. Such questions are usually asked. Who meditates? How do you look at it, this question? Who meditates?
I think it's very early stages, Ed, to answer that question, because initially...
If anybody else wants to say something, otherwise then we are going to close.
I would like to just focus attention. Kalpana ji can give good answer for this. Such questions are usually asked. Who meditates? How do you look at it, this question? Who meditates?
I think it's very early stages, Ed, to answer that question, because initially...
Dr. Kalpana ji, please
Hello?
proceed. Hello, please proceed. Yeah,
Can
I
you
think
hear me? Yeah.
yeah, now we can hear you. I think today something is happening in the system. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Yes,
Please, please.
like I was saying, Mr. Shinde, sir, that it's very early stages for us to be wondering over who is it that actually meditates, because initially it is the conscious mind that sits for meditation. Before we move on to the stages of the different levels of consciousness, before we move on to the stages of the subconscious, meditation takes over. Before we move on to the stage of the observer, I'm sure it is once you're on the path of meditation, there will come a stage in your meditation where there is a part of you that observes yourself meditating. You become the observer and you also become the observed. So then you ask yourself that question, who is it that is actually meditating? And then you go beyond that stage also, further deeper when you go into meditation. Then comes the stage where the observer and the observed both merge and both disappear. And then it is just the soul.
Thank you.
And that is the stage of realization that we call it. I hope I have.
Thank you. Thank you. It is good. Better be with that question.
Yes. No, I think
very correct.
the answer,
Very correct. Kalpana ji, very correct.
That is not the way of Jain meditation. They give the cone and ask them to be with that. And that immediately, as you said rightly, you come to the answer intuitively to that. Everybody has to investigate, and I think that is what we have to be with that question.
Yes, but I would also like to interject one little point here that there is mind games. There's only so much that mind games will take us. There's only so much that mental arithmetic will help us on the path of meditation. And there comes a time, like you said, intuitively we need to get to the answer, where we need to move from the intellectualization aspect of it to the intuition aspect of it. So there comes a time when we need to let go of that intellect and just go with the feelings, go with our experience, which sometimes defines logic. Logic as we know it, with our very limited perception. But the answers also, like you said very rightly, if we persist on that path of meditation, the answers will come to us eventually. If we keep our hearts and our minds open, the answers do arrive.
Thank you, Professor Shinde ji, and thank you, Dr. Kalpana ji, for this very thought-provoking and very insightful dialogue, brief dialogue. And anyone else also, although we are running now short of time, but if anyone else has something to say, otherwise we close the session. Dr. Rajam ji, yeah, final words, please.
Actually, Kalpana ji, now it becomes spiritualism. When you say, when it comes to that point, it's like Kabir saying that a drop becomes the ocean and the ocean becomes the drop.
The drop. Yes.
Eventually, it is not a physical thing. It's not
Very
even
true. Very true. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rajam ji.
Thank you.
सागर बूंद समाया. Kabir's words are Sagar Boond Samaya. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And let us hope that all of us merge in that ocean, or that ocean merge in us.
Taralji, thank you so much. Taralji, I am T.S. Bhatnagar from Rewadi Lodge. Taralji. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And with these words, we are now going to end the meeting. Thank you all for joining.